Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Omar from Youth of Ummah. We have Sheikh Abdul Nasir Jangda. We're going to, inshallah, talk about some of the key questions that people ask, a lot of the youth ask about prayer. So, Sheikh, just being very realistic, why should I pray?
Absolutely. Well, and believe it or not, that's a really common question we get. Why should I pray? Well, first of all, our basic answer as Muslims or as believers is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us to. But to bring that answer down to the level where each and every person can appreciate that, and that is that every single human being needs some type of an outlet, an emotional outlet, needs a mechanism, needs a place, a time, a situation in their life where they can go and they can reload. Emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, a person can reload, refresh, and be able to get back out there and deal with all the adversity that life comes with. And for us, prayer is exactly that outlet. It's a perfect combination of spirituality, standing before God. It involves physical, elements of worship. There are verbal elements of worship. We're supposed to concentrate and focus and ponder and think. So it's even intellectual, reflective, spiritual exercise. So Salah is a really beautiful, powerful combination of everything that a human being needs to be able to be the best human being possible.
The next question I have is, if prayer is so important and prayer makes you a better person, can I be a better person just by helping people and being good around the community? Why do I have to, can I be good and not pray and still be a good Muslim?
That's another very relevant, pertinent question. So again, that can be taken in two ways. Number one is that, first of all, if we look at it within the context of Islam, then obviously Islam is built around, founded on the fact that we are trying to please Allah. So being a good person is going to be defined by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see in me, or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to do, what He has commanded me to do. And one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to do is to pray 5 times a day. So that's the first thing. So from a Muslim perspective, again, there's no way to work around the prayer. Secondly though, just generally speaking, outside of the Islamic context, just trying to make sense of what Muslims do as prayer. Yes, helping other people makes you a good person from a perspective. But the question you got to ask yourself is, what's going to allow you to keep that up? How do you prevent yourself from burning out? You're going to need something that's for you. This is me time. This is what I do for me. This is how I keep myself on my game. And that's where prayer comes into the equation.
And one more question. So what is there something that some tips you can give us on how to concentrate on our prayer? Because a lot of times, people complain when they are starting their prayer. As soon as they say Allahu Akbar, all kinds of thoughts start going through their mind. So what do you recommend we can do on that?
So even the questions that you've asked up till this point, they all, if we were to break it down to the core of the issue, the cause, where are these questions and thoughts even coming from? They're coming from one primary place, and that is maybe somebody has tried to pray, but it was completely meaningless to a person. It was fruitless. It was without any benefit, without any type of enrichment for the individual. So they said, what's the point of just going through these motions? Or people see Muslims praying, and yet it doesn't cause them, it doesn't bring to them any type of happiness, or it doesn't better them in any way, shape, or form. So they say, this doesn't help them. Why should I see any validity in their prayer? Why do you guys pray? You waste your time. So that's the other thing I want to, now that you asked a question on how to improve and better the prayer, I also wanted to address that a lot of times people come to the incorrect conclusion that prayer is of no benefit. There's no point or purpose to the prayer because the prayer is not benefiting them. So now, how do we make sure our prayer benefits us? How do we improve our prayer? How do we take our prayer to the next level and have it be an experience? What I always like to tell people is, ask yourself the question, when's the last time you experienced Salah? Not prayed, not offered, not performed. That one makes me performed, right? Like, what is it? But experienced, right? One of the key things, the main thing, is to understand what you read and what you say in the prayer. See, the vast majority of Muslims, when they pray today, prayers in Arabic. When they pray today, it's no different than to them reflectively, spiritually. It's no different than when somebody stands up and reads something in a foreign language that they don't understand. Or if you sit there trying to pay attention to a conversation of two people, like, for instance, you don't speak Russian, I'm assuming, but you don't. Okay. So if two people were sitting there talking in Russian for 20 minutes and you were sitting there trying to pay attention, you wouldn't be able to focus on that conversation because you don't know what they're saying, right? So we don't understand what's going on in our prayer. So it's no mystery why we don't have any quality or focus. So the first thing is understand what you read and what you say within the prayer. Once we're able to do that, once we're able to achieve that, it takes a prayer to a whole new level. It becomes a personal experience. It means something to you. So that's definitely something I recommend.
And finally, is there something beautiful you can share with us, something in prayer, you know, like which to us it might just mean Arabic words that we know the general meaning of, but something that's really deep about the prayer that we don't realize because, you know, how the prayer was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ, and something beautiful from the prayer?
Sure, absolutely. I'll just share one quick example, and that's, of course, one of the most well-known positions of the prayer, one of the most prominent postures of the prayer, and that's the sujood, the sajda, which literally means to put your face on the ground. So when we put our face on the ground, let's think about what that means. The face of the human being is the most noble, most respected, most respectable part of the human body. It's our ID, it's our identification, it's our face. What we do in prayer, what we do in salah is we take the most respectable part of our body, our face, and we put it on the ground. Where a minute ago somebody walked by with their feet. So I'm putting my face where the feet belong, right? And so you put yourself, there's no lower position possible. A human being physically could not put him or herself in a position lower than sujood, sajda. While we're in the lowest physical position possible, we say the words, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. So Subhana means how absolutely perfect. Rabbi means my Lord, my Master. Al-A'la, here's the interesting part, means the highest, the most exalted. So when we are the lowest, and we willingly put ourselves in the lowest position possible, and we touch our face to the ground, in that position we say Allah is the highest.
Thank you very much, and we inshallah see you. Thank you for being with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي